Our world, as we know it, is in a time of crisis. Our planet is warming. Polar ice caps are melting. Our oceans are filling up with pollution. Even here, in the greatest city in the world, poverty is on the rise. Our time to act is now. But what can we do to be the change? It's going to take our very best in creativity and collaboration. Unity and our networks will be our strongest currency. I believe in the power of personal story to help solve life's most complex issues. Follow me on my journey connecting with experts from different communities, each doing their part in moving society forward. The human brain has a fascinating ability to move past beta, alpha, and theta frequencies to a state of laser-like focus and performance. This state is called flow. We are here at White Oak Tavern. I'm so excited to introduce to all of the viewers today my good friend Marcus Moore. Marcus Moore is an intellectual property lawyer. He's worked at some incredible companies like Sony, Google, Facebook, and he's here today to tell you what it's like working in those industries and what his struggle has been on his way to the top. How have you been, man? What have you been up to?
I'm been good. I cannot complain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh.
One of the things I don't know about you in particular is how did you end up at ASWA? Like, how did you find out about that? What was that process like?
Geronda Little brought like a chamber orchestra to my school. And so I interviewed her while she was there. I was like, so, tell me a little bit more about the school and like helping her recruit students. And then listen to her talk about ASWA during like her recruiting trip. I got interested in the school myself because they brought music down, but then when she said they also had theater, I was like, really? So then when she told me I could go there and do it for 3 hours a day, I was like, okay, I'm sold. So we weren't a great school, but someone went, we need to up our recruitment and we need to go to this area where it's struggling to see if there's talent there. And thank goodness somebody did that. So that's why I think about like this idea of always taking a chance on people.
There's a blessing and a curse that comes from environments like that. One of the things that was really alarming for me, you go into a community and it may be a Latino community or it may be a Black community, but you look at the public schools there and very few people teaching in those schools look like the students. And that wasn't the case where I grew up in Alabama, right? The parachute between that is that you saw people in authority that looked like you.
Yeah.
It was natural for you to perceive people in a position of power as from someone that looks like you. And that has to do something to a kid's psyche. We didn't perceive a disadvantage. Right, because we grew up all understanding like we've seen people that look like us in the positions of authority our entire lives.
Honestly, when people ask me about this show, what's the reason I created it? That's the reason why. It's about representation. So what lane can I really go into and still be quote unquote successful?
Right.
So that was really the main reason, to be able to show multiple representations of success and what success looks like. I mean, you've been at multiple institutions of higher learning, some HBCUs and some predominantly white institutions, and have done very well at both. Like, what do you think are some of the skills that have allowed you to navigate some of those spaces both as successfully as you've been able to?
Coming from ASFA, I did come with a level of confidence in the sense that I knew I could do things by myself if I needed to. There was always this network of love that you could always go back to.
What made you kind of choose intellectual property law?
When I was at Lincoln Center, there was this saxophone player, brilliant arranger and writer that worked extensively with Count Basie, Frank West. His eyesight was failing him because he was old. His wife was like blind from birth. And I got there and it's basically this one room apartment. And it just kind of hit me all of a sudden, like, wait, why isn't Frank West living in a palace? You know, this is like a brilliant musician. This is like a prolific guy. I began to basically learn more and more about music rights and the economy behind the music industry, and realize that there's a huge amount of super talented, hardworking musicians that make no type of residuals, royalties, or very little. And so that really kind of spurred me to really want to do something more than simply perform and help musicians. I wanted to work on enabling artists, enabling creators, and to help them make a living off of what they love. What's really unique about music, in my perspective, that's different from art, is music entirely existed up until the phonograph as simply songs that people shared. I think music has that unique ability though to easily travel, because once you learn a song, it's hard to forget it, right? And you don't have to be a skilled musician to know that. So now you go tell someone, hey, go learn, Act 2 of Midsummer Night,
It's gonna take a minute.
Midsummer's Night Dream. Yeah, exactly, right. Music is very unique in its sense that people can join in, they can sing, it's easily communicable, you can travel with it, you can take it from different places, and other people may not understand the contents of it, but they understand it's a song.
What would you say to a young male of color who might have been or might still be currently in a situation that we were in at one point, looking for hope, inspiration, a way out? What would you say to them if they feel like they're on that edge of giving up?
I would tell them your most inspirational figures don't have to be folks that you see on TV. I promise you they're right there in your community. You don't have to look for every aspect of the person to be inspirational to you. You can find one component of someone's life to be inspirational to you and another component of someone else's. The other part too is I would encourage people to mind their friends. Real friends want you to flourish. If your friends are not celebrating your victories, nah. I don't think many people make it far without supportive friends, but those friends gotta celebrate your wins. So I have one more thing, find you a woman mentor. It's not enough to be sympathetic to someone else's cause, and so you're gonna have to find people who are not like you to give you advice about what they see. You should figure out a way to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. There's gonna be a lens based off of the experience that they have, navigating life, professional world, everything else as a woman, you won't even think about. Sometimes you need people to bring you back home and bring you back down to earth. So that would be a key point of advice, I would say. Durell, I love the fact that you're doing this series. You're allowing people to tell stories and you're celebrating those stories. And these are important stories for people to hear and to understand. On one side, it's inspirational. Another side, it's attainable. And people have to really feel that. And that's what I really love about what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. We talk about poverty breeding ingenuity. I go, what would my ancestors do if they were here today with this technology, this ability? What would they do to share this rhythm, these stories, this feeling, to make sure that there was some sort of capsule for the next generation to come and see what would they do?
Right.
Instead of putting it in a song, maybe they would have put it on camera and gone, all right, maybe somebody can come to this whenever they get ready, whenever you're ready to stream it, right? When the content is right for you, it'll be there for you to understand that we were here too, and we were here doing this for you.
I agree with you. I think this is what they would be doing.